Okay guys, I just wanted to do another quick video there. The last one I did was on my 2016 Arctic Cat Altera. This one here, I dug this out a few weeks ago. This is my 2001 Banshee. Um, I guess you could say I kind of bought it brand new like the Arctic Cat. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was in my early 20s, and me and about three of my other friends, we all wanted to get into quadding. I mean, some of us had old beater bikes before in the past and stuff, but anyway, three of my buddies decided they were going to go out and buy three brand new four-wheelers. One of my buddies bought a 400EX, another one bought a 300EX, and my other buddy bought a Blaster, Yamaha Blaster. They had them about a year or so, a little over a year, and then they decided they were going to move out west and work in the oil patch and stuff like that, and they sold them. Now, not long before my buddy sold his Blaster, we went up to our local Yamaha dealership. At the time, it was called Atlantic Yamaha in Dieppe, New Brunswick, and he needed to pick something up for his Blaster. So we were in the showroom, we were looking at bikes, and at the time they bought their bikes, I really wanted one of these. You know, growing up as a kid in the 80s, these bikes were, you know, notorious. Everybody wanted one, sort of deal. So we went into the showroom and they had a brand new blue one and this brand new white and black one. And I was like, wow, I really like that bike or whatever. But at the time I couldn't buy one because I had just bought a car, a newer car, which is why I didn't buy a bike when they all did. But anyway, we left. That was all fine. And a couple of my buddies took off out west. And then finally my buddy Johnny with the Blaster, he moved out west. So I don't know, a couple months later, after we had been up there the first time, I went back up there and I was looking around and I noticed that this white and black Banshee wasn't on the showroom floor anymore. There was two blue ones there. But I got talking to one of the sales guys and he said, oh yeah, that white and black one. He said, a young fella bought that, about your age, my age at the time, I guess. And he said his grandfather co-signed for it, and the young fella ended up falling off a roofing for his grandfather. It's the job he did, and hurt his back. Wasn't going to be able to do anything, work or ride or anything like that for probably a couple years. So the old fella that co-signed brought this bike back in about 2 months later and was like, you know, if I'm going to make payments on something for the next however many years, you know, I want something I can ride. He said I got on that goddamn thing and then I almost come over backwards. So he traded it in on like a Timberwolf or a Kodiak or a Grizzly or something like that. So it was only, like I said, about 2 months old when I ended up getting it. Any wear and damage and scratches and nicks and stuff like that you see on the bike now, all done by me. The bike literally still looked pretty much brand new, other than a little bit of dust here and there down in the motor and stuff like that. But I mean, it was still pretty much, and the bike still is in really good shape. In the, you know, close to 15 years I've owned it now. Like I said, it's an '01. I bought it in like '02, used for a couple months. I've only run maybe, in the first 6-7 years I owned it, I maybe ran 5 tanks of fuel through it. Then it sat for quite a while, and about 2 or 3 years later I decided I was going to take it out for a ride, and it wouldn't run. It was only running on one cylinder. It was backfiring. It wasn't running right. So I was like, well, you know, it sat for a long time, whatever, to hell with it. I threw it back in my garage, and I didn't bother with it for about another close to 10 years. And finally, thanks to the help of Kevin Galindo from South Texas Banshee, he has a YouTube channel there. If any of you guys are into these bikes, you should really check it out. I'm sure you probably have already seen it if you are, but incredibly helpful man. Literally instant messaged me step by step what I needed to do to get it going. And you know, I tore the carburetors and airbox and everything off, and tore the carbs all down, cleaned everything. Cleaned everything what I thought was perfectly good. Ended up putting it all back together, and it still didn't run right. Contacted Kevin again, and within literally like, you know, a few hours, he was like, yeah, you missed something, take them apart again and clean them. I'm telling you, man, that's all it is. If it ran fine before it sat, it should run fine now. And sure enough, he was right. One of the pilot jets, I didn't get it quite 100%. It was still a little bit clogged up. I cleaned that out, put it back together. One kick, fired right up, idled, no problem. So since then, I've had it out for one ride. I guess about, 3 weeks ago now, close to a month ago, and it ran good. I tried some different premix oil in it after the stuff I initially mixed was Yamalube, which is all I ever ran in this bike the whole time I used it before I let it sit. I only had a little bit of Yamalube left. I mixed one tank, 1 gallon, ran the 1 gallon out, and then I mixed a little bit of new stuff. I used iPone injection oil that I had for my sled. I like iPone products. I use them a lot in my snowmobiles and stuff like that, and I had some left over, so I just mixed a little bit richer on the oil to compensate for the fact that it was injection oil instead of premix. But I didn't really care for the way it worked after I did that. It started breaking up on me a little bit and hesitating some, so I drained that out, and I went and bought some iPone 2000 premix stuff for motocross, and that's what I got in it now. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of the bike. I guess here in a second we'll go for a little ride. All right, get my helmet on here and grab my gloves. Yeah, it's a little creaky. I need to put some grease to it. Warm it up a little bit here. Alright, so there we go, guys. There's a little rip. Seems to be working pretty good. Still notice a little bit of hesitation once in a while. I don't know what that is. Maybe it always did it. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've been on it. But anyway, hope you liked the video. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, just put it down below and I'll get back to you.